Hi guys, Claudia Bedin here. This is another update video on the ongoing situation with Palestine and Gaza, which is getting worse and worse and worse. Basically, anybody who's got a platform to speak should be speaking right now, especially because I believe that here in Britain we are giving our unconditional support to Israel. Our politicians are expressing solidarity in war crimes, and I believe that we are actually sending weaponry to help Israel in what seems to be the genocide of the Palestinian people. Okay, just before we get into it, I'm going to put in the description box the links to medical aid for Palestinians. I believe Oxfam has a campaign for the people of Gaza right now. They are in desperate need. If you don't have anything to give, that's fine, obviously, but if you could share those things, that would be really useful. Anything that can help them. I mean, a sign of how evil things have become is that Medical Aid for Palestinians have actually made a statement to say that their website's actually been under cyber attack in an attempt to prevent people from donating towards medical relief efforts for Gaza. So not only are the people under torture, they're dying, water's been cut off, power's been cut off, food's been cut off. Also, they're being now denied medical aid because people are so evil and they've dehumanized the Palestinian people so much that they don't even want medical aid going in. Now, I don't know how evil you've got to get to have an issue with humanitarian aid reaching people. Literally, it's just medical aid. It's just the tools they will need to treat the people, the innocent civilians that have been hurt by this. Anyway, I'm going to put those in the description box. Please donate if you can. If you can't, spread the word. Okay, the second thing I wanted to say is that I believe there is going to be a demonstration tomorrow in London. So it's the March for Palestine. It's taking place at 12 p.m. tomorrow on Saturday the 14th of October. It's going to be at the BBC Portland Place W1A London. I am going to I'll put the information in the description box, but if you just look this up, it's a march for Palestine. It's to end the violence and to end apartheid. We're going through a situation here now, which actually started some time ago, but has really ramped up now because of the Islamophobia and the people we've got in charge right now, in both power and opposition. They are trying to make it so that being supportive of Palestine and the Palestinian people, even simply just the humanitarian aid and being against the breach of international law, which is impacting civilians, that is trying to be reframed as somehow being terrorist sympathising or being supporters of Hamas. I'm wearing a Free Palestine top today because I absolutely refuse to stop speaking up against war crimes and injustices when I see them. I don't know where things are going to go with that because we are seeing this push towards trying to make the Palestinian flag be some sort of prohibited thing that makes you a terrorist. Yet you can actually put the Israeli flag and light up buildings with the Israeli flag while their government is actually committing war crimes. So anyway, that's what's going on. I can't go to the protest. I'm disabled, so I don't travel. But I wanted to let you know, anyone who can go, just to show your support. There have been protests in France, I believe. I think the protests were actually prohibited in France, but people went anyway, just so many people. Please hold on. Do not be intimidated right now into thinking, oh, I don't want people to think that I'm supporting terrorism or something. Literally, for the innocent people, if your heart is with the innocent people, as it should be in any conflict, right, no matter where you stand politically on any issue, I think what binds us together as a humanity is the understanding that innocents are never an okay target, right? And that should be across the board. I think we can all agree with that. That is essentially what is happening in Palestine. We are seeing the most... I don't understand how I keep seeing people posting more and more horrific things about what Hamas has done. And some of it is allegedly misinformation, some of it is true. I don't know what is and what isn't. What I will say is it is completely irrelevant when it comes to speaking out against war crimes against a civilian population. There is nothing that you could tell me Hamas has done which would justify the bombing of 1 million children. There is nothing you could tell me. It doesn't make any sense. I'm seeing grown adults try and justify the torture of these children who are then being denied medical supplies. They're being starved. Like, if you watch what's going on, and I would encourage you to try and follow people that are in Palestine, to watch different news channels to see what's going on. I know it's difficult because the power is being taken out, people are losing battery, they can't really contact the rest of the world, which is even more disturbing because it seems like the Israeli army is outside of Gaza right now, and who knows what's going to happen when they, you know, can't contact people anymore. The hospitals are losing generators. Please just take a look at what's going on. If you can do it on so many different social media platforms, you will see so many Palestinians just innocent normal people like you or I, like everywhere else in the world, right? They're just normal people, just regular people of all different kinds, and they are under siege. I'm seeing videos of people crying for their loved ones, people being taken out from the rubble, people burying in the rubble with their bare hands, children that have been horribly hurt, and some who've died. And just use your humanity and understand that that is always wrong. The death of children is always wrong, no matter who commits the crime. I thought that was something that we all had in common, the knowledge that you do not harm children. That's just not something that is done. Anyway, I saw that so the new thing that's happening right now, Israel has made an ultimatum to the people of Gaza, 1 million people. I'm going to make sure I've got the information right here. Okay, so basically, the Israeli authorities have warned the people in Gaza, 1.1 million people, that they've got 24 hours to go south. They've got to move because otherwise they're going to be in danger. I don't know what's going to happen. I assume it means they're going to really, really bomb the place more. But if you understand what's going on, it's really sick that that's even being spun as some sort of like good deed. No, you've got no right to go in there and demolish these people's homes. Like, there are people trapped in rubble still. There are people, children, elderly people, disabled people, that if you can see the streets of what it's like there right now, people don't have their cars. You can't just drive out, and that's also a displacement. That is a displacement of about 1 million people, and basically it's like a second Nakba, isn't it? So the Nakba in the 1940s was the forced displacement of Palestinian people, and that is still a terrible evil which has happened. And really, if you go right back into this situation, there is deep pain there. It's a really terrible injustice that happened, and these people, many of whom are already displaced, are now being given 24 hours to get out. There's nowhere they can go which is safe. Many of them can't get there. There are people in hospitals because they're so badly injured and there's no supplies. These are their homes. This is the place they've grown up. If it was us, right, imagine it was us, and we were suddenly told, right, you've got 24 hours, go. You've got 24 hours, you've got to go. You've got to move, right? Imagine. It would just be, it's impossible. It's an impossible thing to ask, not only because lots of people can't do it, and not only because it's immoral to ask them to do it, that is displacement, but because that amount of people can't even be concentrated into that area which is already so populated. There is no way. It's a humanitarian crisis. This is not acceptable. The UN has said, they have said, Israel, you cannot demand that of people. The people do not know what to do, because there are people who, like, there's people who are just packing bags, right? They're walking around with a bag. I saw a woman on the news earlier, and she's got a bag of dates, because they don't go off, you can eat them. She's got her medical documents, she's got some wipes and things, and that's it. They've got these emergency bags in case they need their documentation. They don't want their documentation to get destroyed because they don't know what's going to become of them. There are people whose loved ones will be still under the rubble. They're like, they can't, it's immoral to ask them to go. It's wrong. It's against, you can't demand that. It's another forced displacement. It is a threat. And second of all, it's impossible anyway. It is absolutely impossible. This is a genocide happening in real time, and this is basically how it happens. If you are anybody who has studied history in any form, understand that this is exactly how it happens. And the way we're watching it happen is this. So before a genocide takes place against a group of people, you're going to see increased stories about members of that group being awful, terrible people. And of course, you know, you hear stories about evils committed by certain people. As a human being, you think, oh my God, you think that's absolutely horrifying, that's awful. But what you'll notice is that they will use those things by a certain group, some of which are true and some of which aren't. They will be creating this they are basically trying to make us be so fearful of Palestinians in general, right, and to associate them with terror, that we dehumanize them, that we think it's okay and somehow necessary to basically displace them, bomb them, torture them, and to starve them out. That's essentially what is happening to about 1 million children. I said this in my last video, but even if you have no concern whatsoever for the Palestinian adults, which I still think is absolutely disgusting, what on earth is wrong with people that they hear about that happening to children and they just don't care? I'm seeing the covers of newspapers, right, talking about the conflict, using pictures of Palestinian children who are injured and crying. But the implication they're giving is that those are Israeli children. A similar thing has been happening on social media. So you'll have images of Gaza, which has been bombed, and then pray for Israel on it. And of course, people who aren't aware, good people, I want to believe there are more good people in this world. Obviously, they're just seeing destruction. They're hearing things on the news and they think, oh, of course, that's a great evil. But this is how it happens. This is the disinformation which is coming out. They're going to keep asking. They are going to keep making you more and more outraged and horrified by what people within that group have done. And what they're going to do is they're going to try and desensitize, and they've done this over a long time. They're going to try and make it be guilt by association. They are going to try and erase the occupation. They are going to make out that all those people are one big group and they're one big danger. And we can already see this in action. We have seen this happen in history before the most terrible, terrible things happen. There are grown adults arguing that it is acceptable, in fact. It's a bit of a shame, but, Israel has every right. And, honestly, it's the fault of Hamas, and they should have thought about that before they did it. In what world? There are some evil, evil people showing themselves here, and this is across the political spectrum, because I'm seeing a lot of liberals who act like they're, good social justice and that. They don't actually seem to care about these children. To their credit, I'm seeing some right-wingers, I'm seeing some Tories even, who are managing to be more humane to the people of Palestine than even our opposition is being. Right? But this is unfolding in real time. This is a genocide of people that really began in 1948 and is happening right now. If you have a platform, you need to speak on this. You need to do whatever you can, like write to your MP, make sure you're trying to talk about this issue, and do not let people suggest that it is anti-Semitic to believe in a free Palestine and that the people of Gaza should be safe. If you're a good person, you should believe that all people, all innocent people of all faiths and all races, and especially all children all across this world, should be safe. Do not let them make it an either or. That is not a reality, and that will never be the reality. It is not that because these children were hurt, we're going to hurt these children. That is not how we work, and that is how the propaganda is going to go. People are going to be intimidated out of speaking for Palestine because they're already being associated with wanting to hurt innocent people, when it's the people accusing them of that who are justifying the war crimes against children. There is no justification for these war crimes. It is against international law. We are partly to blame in Britain for the whole situation from the start, but also now the US is taking part. This is not going to end well for anybody. This is not going to end well for any innocent person. Everyone needs to put aside their concern about, I don't know how it's going to I don't know how people are going to take it, I don't know what people are going to think of me. Right, if you care about international law and you care about the lives of these kids, right, and the lives of innocent people, who could be us, by the way, we've been so desensitized that it's like, oh no, they're not like us, they're Muslim people, they're abroad, they're in the Middle East. No, it could be us. It could be us. Please think yourself into their shoes, just as you've thought yourselves into the shoes of those innocent Israeli people at the music festival, right? I'm sure we've all, and the media is encouraged, as they should, they've encouraged us to think about how horrific that must have been, to be at a thing like that, and then the testimonies that have come out of that are horrific. I got really upset on one of them. I just started crying. It's just awful, horrific. Please do not let them dehumanize an entire group of people who are already occupied and oppressed. Please do not let them use this. Do not fall into this trap. Call out anybody who does this. It is kind of irrelevant where you are on the political spectrum here. It's irrelevant. If you're a good person at this point, and these are people who consider themselves to be good people, right? But what you are seeing is these people where they would have stood in the past, when different situations arose, and what you're seeing is people's true colours. You're seeing the people who stand by, who make excuses, who sit on the fence. When innocent lives are at risk, you don't sit on the fence. This is not an issue of Israel versus Hamas or Israel versus Palestine. Like, this is a war crime. This is a war crime. It is a crime against humanity. It is a forced displacement. It is starvation. It is getting rid of their power. It is denying medical aid. And it is bombing a densely populated civilian place. The pain is unimaginable. Do not let them desensitize you to that pain or try to tell you that that human pain you're feeling is a bad thing. This is exactly how it happens, and we have seen, as a history, we have seen these things before. Where do you want to be in the future when people ask you about this time, and when people talk about the people of Gaza, who I pray by then are free and safe and there's a peaceful solution and they have their rights and that people all across the region are safe? What are you going to say when people ask? Because people need to think about that. Politicians and celebrities, people in power, are disgusting opposition who doesn't seem to show any empathy whatsoever, who are still playing politics in a situation where, actually, take the politics out of it. And I believe everything is political anyway, but even if you want to be like, take the politics out of it, use your humanity and just be consistent. If you are so angry, as you should be, that innocent children have been killed by Hamas, right, innocent Israeli children, then you need to also be outraged that Palestinian children are now dying at the hands of a state and that this is a war crime. If you're not consistent in that, I don't trust you, and you're not worthy of... It's really, really disgusting. I've told you this before. You know that I support the freedom of the Palestinians, right, and their rights. I believe they've been occupied, and I believe that they deserve to have their liberation, right? They've been through enough. I do not want to see a single innocent person. I do not want to see Israeli children being hurt. If it was the other way round, which wouldn't make sense because Israel is the opposite way round, I would not want children indiscriminately hurt for the actions of a group. There is no way. Children are always innocent, and it's just a 666 situation. I will keep speaking about it. I will wear the flag, right? I will make sure that I stick to my values, and I would implore you to stick to yours, and think about what this means for those people there, and just think that it could be any of us, right? It could be any of us. I don't trust a single person who is against the atrocities only when they happen to the Israelis. I don't trust that whatsoever. I don't trust it. I'm very much, as you know, I'm very much for the liberation of Palestine. I would never want to see an Israeli child hurt. Never. It's unimaginable to me. But this is the dehumanisation in our media, and this is how we've been taught to feel about people that we perceive as Muslims in the Middle East, right? And we are partly to blame. We are now sending weapons. We're not sending aid. We are sending weapons. The blood is on our hands here in Britain. If you've got a platform, you need to speak and just not be afraid. When you think about what the people in Palestine are actually going through right now, just stand up and say something. Just advocate for humanity. You don't have to be political. Just advocate for humanity, for the fair application of international law, right? For the sake of all those innocent people there who are being punished for a crime they did not commit, and who have really been being punished since 1948. And it's ongoing. Okay, thank you so much for watching this. I really do appreciate that. Please follow Palestinian Voices on social media, see what's going on. Again, the donation links for aid are going to be in the description box, because this is a humanitarian crisis, and if we can do anything to try and make things even a little bit better, that's what we can do. Humanitarian aid is surely the answer, and I'm stunned that we're sending weapons rather than humanitarian aid in this situation. I can't see how more weapons would be needed to destroy Gaza. I just don't understand it. We are on the wrong side of history in Britain right now. It's not going to go well. We're on the wrong side of history. I'm ashamed about it. Stand up and speak out if you can. Love your loads. I'm going to keep talking about this issue. I don't know what that's going to mean in terms of they're trying to people who talk about being, oh, we're so free speech, seem very willing to try and silence people who literally just want people to have their human rights. That's essentially it. Do you believe that all people are equal? Do you believe that we still have human rights? And do you believe that even in a time of war, children, even if you don't believe in the occupation, do you believe that even in a time of war, children should be protected and that nobody should be acting to harm children in a time of war? If you believe that, then say it. All right, I love you loads. I will see you really, really soon. All right, love you. Bye.